And when does biological human life begin?
Conception.
And that's the same thing as when the sperm drills into the egg?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your justification for why women ought to be permitted to have an abortion?
Women should be permitted to get abortions because the fetus doesn't have moral value between 20 through 24 weeks.
What makes it be the case that they don't have moral value?
Because it lacks the capacity to intellectualize. And in order to have moral value, you have to have the capacity to intellectualize.
Okay, what makes it be the case that you have to have this particular capacity for moral consideration?
Because in order to be of moral consideration, you must be a subject. And a subject is created through the prevalence of the capacity to intellectualize. The reason why, in order to be of moral deservance, you must be a subject is because the study of ethics is how to survive as humans, particularly how to survive well. And what generates normativity would be mental states and subjective first-person states, such as flourishment, pain, pleasure, or decay. And those states just can't exist without being a subject, and you can't be a subject without the capacity to intellectualize.
Okay. So how do you know what pain or anything like that is?
How do I know what pain is?
Yeah, because you appealed to a matter of flourishing. So is this kind of like a utilitarianism, pragmatism? What would this fall underneath?
Well, my view is compatible with, any normative view of ethics. It's compatible with virtue ethics. It's compatible with utilitarianism.
It's not compatible with the Christian worldview.
It's compatible. Yes, it is, because it's compatible with
no, it's not.
deontic ethics.
Because the Christian worldview holds to that from the moment of fertilization, deserving of equal rights, equal protection. So how does it align with the Christian worldview?
Well, A, I guess I don't really care if it aligns with the Christian worldview, not because I'm not a Christian, but B, I think it does, because a lot of really famous theologians, like Aquinas, for instance, would actually agree with you that the fetus doesn't deserve, is not of moral deservance prior to a particular point in pregnancy.
Yeah, hold the solus rhetorus, so it doesn't matter, but...
is Aquinas a Christian?
Yeah. So what?
Okay. Well, I mean,
there are Christians that think that infant baptism is good. That doesn't make that infant baptism is good.
Okay. Well, I guess in short, I don't really care if it aligns with the Christian worldview or not. I'm concerned with proof. So being concerned with proof, we shouldn't ban the fetus until 20 through 24 weeks.
Okay, proof. What's your definition of proof?
Evidence to support a claim.
How do you know if something is evidence or not?
If it's an accurate description of what makes a proposition either align with or not align with reality.
How do you know what is real?
How do I know what is real?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a weird question.
Yeah. In order for you to know if something aligns with reality, you would need to know what is real, yeah?
By real, do you just mean like things that actually exist?
Yeah, how do you know?
I know things that actually exist through a bunch of different inferences, such as the reliability of my senses, and my senses engaging in things that actually exist, the cross-reference of my senses, as well as the cross-reference of my senses with the senses of others.
Okay. So it just seems like that it's just the utilization of your senses and reasoning at the core. Are your senses and reasoning fallible? Are they perfect?
My senses and reasoning are not perfect.
Okay. So they do deceive you at times, yes?
Yeah. I only have complete certainty in like very specific facts, such as like the laws of logic, and anything else you don't have necessary certainty in, but I'm not a skeptic. What does this have to do with my argument for why abortion is morally permissible?
Yeah, because it's going to be a epistemology thing. Because I'm running you through the infinite regression of knowledge.
Okay. Could you tell me which premise of my pro-choice argument this rejects?
So I'm asking you how you know that your senses and reasoning are working properly to begin with, since everything boils down to the utilization of your senses and reasoning.
Can you please tell me which premise of my pro-choice argument you're attempting to reject?
Yeah, that you can know things.
Okay. What?
So how is it that, so what are you going to utilize in order for you to know things?
Wait, so I just want to clarify, which premise of my argument is that?
Yeah. The premise that you reliably, the premise that you use your senses and reasoning to know what is real.
Oh, yeah, I didn't come up here to debate you on your weird argument for Christianity. I came up here to debate you on abortion ethics.
I'm not arguing for my worldview. You're arguing for yours. So I'm asking you to justify your worldview.
Yeah, listen, if you want to have an epistemological conversation about how atheists can know anything at all, I guess that's not the conversation with me, because I'm here to debate about abortion ethics.
So you can't justify how it is the case that you know that your ethics are correct?
How about this? I know things. I know things based upon my senses and based upon my reasoning, and my senses and my reasoning are relatively accurate. And
how accurate? Are they 100% accurate?
Well, we could prove things to be accurate based on evidence. Sometimes they are 100% accurate.
How do you know?
Opposite of because something is going to be 100% accurate if it's necessarily true in accordance with the laws of logic. Like in those scenarios, it would be 100% accurate.
Hold on. I thought we were dealing with epistemology, not logic.
Well, I mean, you asked me how sometimes I know things to be 100% true. Yeah. And sometimes that can be a question if it is logically necessary.
Yeah, how do you know if it's logically necessary?
Because the alternative leads to a contradiction.
Yeah, how do you know that it leads to a contradiction?
How do I know that this claim leads? Okay, well, I'll give you an example. I know that a squared circle is a contradiction because what we mean by square is incompatible with what we mean by circle.
Yeah, how do you know that? How do you know what we mean by square?
How do you? Well, I mean, how do I know what we mean by square? I mean, it's me. I set my own definition of what I mean by square, so it's an internal recognition.
Okay. So your internal recognition may not necessarily align with outside, correct?
Yeah, because these are like abstract understandings of like the communication.
Okay, so is truth subjective?
Objects.
So is truth subjective then?
There are many truths that are objective. There are many truths that are subjective.
And how are you going to know which is objective or subjective? What are you going to appeal to?
They are objective if they are not dependent on a subject. They are subjective if they are dependent on a subject.
How do you know if they are dependent upon a subject or not?
By determining with use of my faculties of reason.
Yes, and we're back at it again. How do you know that your senses and reasoning are working properly to begin with?
My senses and reasoning are working properly to begin with based on alignment with reality.
Yeah, and how do you know what is real?
Yeah, because
I'm just confused on what this line of question is, how it relates to abortion ethics.
Yeah, just to speed up the conversation, Dean, you would agree that there...
You got me.
Wait, this is Dean?
I never responded to.
Dude, I expected more of Dean. My goodness, my guy.
Hold on.
Yeah, sorry, bro. I don't spend my time like wasting it away on like useless rambling on the infinite regress of knowledge.
I don't think that's what he's doing. He's definitely spending his time fighting against the genocide of our generation, so he's not wasting his time at all.
Yeah, bro, like laugh your ass off because I don't think about responses to the infinite regress of knowledge all day. Like, holy.
Well, it's important, right? Because then you can't justify...
Okay, how do you know that your senses are reliable and accurate?
So do you concede?
Yeah, bro, I don't have fucking answers to those questions. What are your answers? How do you know that your senses are reliable?
How do you know? Please
answer.
I just want clarification on this. So you don't know how your senses and reasoning are reliable then?
Yeah, bro, like at some point through the infinite regress, we're just going to have to accept it as an axiomatic unexplainable truth.
You don't know how...
I want to ask you how you know.
So you don't know how to get out of the infinite regression.
Yeah, and I'm asking you, how do you get out of the infinite regression?
So this is how one gets out of the infinite regression, and since you don't know, you can't say otherwise. Nor can you ask for a justification, because all I'll have to do is just run you back through the infinite regression of
I
knowledge.
just told you that ultimately it's going to reduce down to an irreducible axiomatic truth.
Oh, do you know that? How do you know that to be the case?
Well, like I said, it's unexplainable. It's just an axiomatic truth.
Yeah, all I have to do is just run you back through the infinite regression of knowledge on that. And
Yeah,
you don't know how to justify it. And you don't know how to justify it.
Can you tell me how you could answer these questions, please? Can you answer these questions?
Yes,
okay,
I
answer
can.
these questions.
Yeah.
How do you know that your senses are accurate?
And before I do, I just want to make sure that it is. And before I do, I want to make sure that you are aware that since you don't know how to get out of the infinite regression of knowledge, you can't say justify.
Yeah, bro, I haven't thought about it for more than like
very good.
Do you understand what he's saying, Dean?
Okay. How do you know that your like senses are
before I move on, do you know what I mean by that?
Do I know what you mean by you saying that I can't use the word justify?
No. You cannot ask me to justify since you don't have a way out of the infinite regression of knowledge by your own admission.
Okay, yeah, cool, bro. So how do you know that your senses of reason are accurate?
Because God exists.
How do you know that God exists?
Like I said, you can't ask for a justification.
Wait, how do you know that God exists?
Like I said, you can't ask for a justification because you already gave up on knowledge.
Yeah, bro, that's the thing about the
you
infinite
can't
regress.
critique my worldview because you
gave
up on knowledge. Okay,
that's the thing about the infinite regress of knowledge. It only works if you're the one in control.
Anthony,
as soon as you're the subject that's having these questions asked to you, all of a sudden you just lose control.
Totally missing it. Totally missing it.
So the argument of the infinite regression of knowledge only works if you're the one running it.
Do you want to try to explain it to him?
Yeah, by the way, this argument only works if you're the one running it. But as soon as you're in the hot seat, apparently you can't take the questions.
Well, no, it's not that. Like, so for the Christian worldview, we're going to have to say that we can trust our senses and reasoning and truth claims of any kind.
Okay.
Hold on, let me finish. Dean, hold on.
I believe in a deist God, abortion is permissible.
Hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. Right. In order for us to make truth claims, to trust that our senses of reasoning are working, we're trusting in the God who quite literally is all things, right? The atheist doesn't have that, right? You guys have to have some kind of skepticism because you know you're not perfect.
Yeah, cool, bro. I'm a deist. I trust in God for these things. Now, abortion.
What God do you trust in? What God do you trust in?
Yeah, deist God. God that exists, that created the universe, that's perfect. So anyways, what's the response?
So Yahweh
is perfect?
Oh, so Yahweh?
Well, I mean, in order for it to be Yahweh, that means
so
perfect
Jesus?
God would have had to have been a part of the Trinity that like died on the cross.
So Jesus, praise God.
Hey, man,
Dean is now a Christian. Thank you for repenting and turning to the only God that everyone knows exists.
I'm not stipulating those assumptions. Respond to my... Okay, now that I've demonstrated to you that I have an ultimate foundation for truth because I believe in a perfect God, please respond to the pro-choice argument I gave you.
Okay, cool. So you admit that God exists, and with what he has revealed in Scripture, we cannot murder the child in the womb. Thank you
I don't make
for
those
agreeing.
stipulations. I don't make those stipulations. I'm just stipulating that God exists.
You just agreed that God exists, and everyone knows that God exists, and we need to establish God's law, and that the principle of Exodus 21, 22 through 25 shows that equal rights, equal protection for the child in the womb. Thank you for agreeing with us, Anthony.
Listen, bro, you're not listening to me. So
I'm going to mute you real quick.